We still do 7 NUFC Matters shows for free a week. But if you want to support the channel, there are a few ways of doing it. Hit the like button on each live broadcast or video. This helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe button and select the all notifications option. Hit the thanks button to buy a super sticker. You can do this on the live chat too. You can also join our Patreon page or buy us a coffee at the link in all of our video descriptions below. We are also looking for sponsors. If you want our latest advertising rates and how you can get involved, then email John at nufcmatters1892@gmail.com. We have some events coming up over the next 12 months. NUFC Matters End of Season Party takes place at the Tyneside Irish Centre on Friday the 22nd of May. Tickets are £10 and the doors open at 7 o'clock at the Tyneside Irish Centre. From Dialogue to Monologue by Arthur Mackenzie, a live script reading takes place on Friday the 5th of June at 7:30 at the Tyneside Irish Centre. Return of the Entertainers, a walking football match, takes place at Gateshead Leisure Centre on Saturday the 6th of June, kick-off 12 o'clock. You can also have a chance to play in the game and take on the Entertainers. Go to our website for more details. Northern Horizon, a Blake 7 convention, and Rebel Base Northeast, a Star Wars convention, take place on Saturday the 1st of August, 10 o'clock in the morning until 4 in the afternoon at the Copthorne Hotel on the Quayside. All of these events are in aid of Age UK North Tyneside Dementia, and tickets available from nufcmatters.co.uk. The Craze for a Dinage, Ronnie, Reggie and Me takes place on Wednesday the 11th of November, 7:30 at the Tyne Theatre and Opera House. And an evening with Beardsley, Cole and Ferdinand takes place on the 29th of January 2027. Also at the Tyne Theatre and Opera House. Box office for both of those events, 0191 243 1171. Tyne Theatre and Opera House.uk is the website to book your tickets. If you're looking for something to read on your holidays, why not buy The Entertainers 1992 to 1997, Kevin Keegan's Legacy, or The Promoter and the Photographer, 25 years of bringing the stars to Tyneside. Both books available, nufcmatters.co.uk.
Hush now, city kids, gather round for urban myths. Hush now, city kids. When it came to me after so long, I didn't have no choices in the streets where I was from. When I think about the pain, I didn't have no choices. I took what I had sworn. Hush now, city kids, gather round for urban myths. Hush now, city kids. But you know, they wouldn't let you have it any other way. Stepping back from what you lack, the past just pulls you back in again. Save me from myself, it just carries on, just carries on.
Good evening, welcome along to the Fans Forum on NUFC Matters, Monday the 9th of March, and as always joined by a panel of Newcastle fans to look back on the game at the weekend. And it was an exit from the fifth round of the FA Cup. Newcastle United 1, Manchester City 3. And George, you weren't there, mate, but you got an opportunity to see the goals and listen to people's comments, I guess, on a few podcasts over the last couple of days. Now the dust settles, what's your feelings about the result and about crashing out of the FA?
Well, I've seen the match really, basically, by chasing on the telly and on the computer rather. Well, it was always going to be a difficult one. But despite that, I always thought we had as Jordan Gibson says, a puncher's chance. And for the first half, we did. For half an hour, we were the best team. But as we got towards half time, you could see them starting to take over. And after that, the worry wasn't what was on the field. The worry for me was what was on the bench, what he could do to change the game, and we couldn't. We didn't have that quality on the bench. Made worse, of course, by the fact that the referee against Manchester United sent off one of our up-and-coming midfielders who gave Manchester City a lot of trouble the last time we played them. So in that sense, we were a man short. We for the last few games, I felt we were a man short because he's injured and he's in Brazil. We've certainly learned, I think, in the last few games, the value of Bruno to the squad. You know, his ability to take the sting out of the game and hold the ball back and all the rest of it. But I've got to say that the other night I thought that they all tried their very best. You know, there were some good performances, and just slowly but surely, Manchester City did what they do to everybody. They just ground out the result, and as I say, it was the quality coming off the bench that really did work. The goal, excellent goal. I thought Harvey Barnes took it very well, but I thought the football to get him there was good as well, and there was lots of other stuff like that. You know, in considering how even on here, you know, people go on about the fact that Trippier's 35. He's still a fantastic defender and good at marshalling the team. And I know he got a lot of criticism from the Manchester City team afterwards, but criticism because he stuck up for his mates. I don't criticise people who do that. He was there, and in some ways the game too far forward because, as I say, they had the ability to change things off the bench. We didn't. The midfield. I mean, Tonali was superb again, and Joelinton was throwing himself about and is in the way in which we expect. And as I say, for the first half, certainly the first half hour, the game was ours. But up to half time, we were in that game in a big style. It was when they changed things at half time that we just eventually got caught out, and that was quite sad. But yeah, that's the Cup done for another year, and nobody more sad than me. And you know, even I've got to admit that we're not going to get to second place now, are we? But I think that I think we've still got a season to look forward to if Eddie can marshal the troops like he did a couple of times in Europe before. Sad, but they didn't go out easy. They give it a go, and I'm happy with that they didn't lie down and die. They did give it a real go, and there's not much more you can ask, to be honest. So on what Europe is my view.
Okay, Darren, hope everything's all right with you, mate. I know you've been through a bit of a tough time over the last few weeks, but you've clearly had a holiday with Jeff, because when you've been away, Jeff's been away.
Yeah, we've had a bonding session together, me and Jeff, and it wasn't great, but we're back at the same time.
Yeah, good stuff. So anyway, Darren, yeah, we're out of the FA Cup, mate. I mean, let's face it, the draw wasn't very kind to us. We've ended up with Man City again, and there is a huge gulf in class.
Oh, you could see totally, Steve. First of all, I've got to give a mention a lad called Nathan, Steve. I was at the match. I was sitting down. He taps on the shoulder. and he said, "Are you down on NUFC matters?" So he from Glasgow he was. So he watches the Free Amigo on a Friday, and he watches the Fans Forum, and he loves it. He said so. I thought I had to give him a mention because he mentioned the program. He mentioned how much he loves it through lockdown and all that. He was, yeah, watched it every day. So I have to give him a quick mention tonight.
Thanks very much to him.
Yes, back to the game. I thought Man City are a good team, but like George said, first half an hour we were good, and after that, I don't know what happened after that, because that mistake, stupid mistake, back playing out from the back with schoolboy errors. It was bizarre. As soon as they scored, you kind of knew we were going out. And like I say, Baltimore, I'm sorry, he is absolutely rubbish. You cannot shoot for shit. You cannot run for shit. You cannot do nout. I've watched him for the last 4 weeks. I've studied it. He brings nothing to the team. I love the notes that he'll get him, because we've been sold a dud. It's so frustrating. He's not a good player. He's a poor player, and he's. I know people said, "Oh, he's going to get like 20 goals a season." He may be lucky if he gets 2 more. Do you know what I mean? And that's in his own goal. But Eddie Howe, I question Eddie Howe's tactics, because you bring Dan Burn on, you put him left back, you put Lewis Hall right back. It makes no sense. You put a left foot on the right back.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a manager or a coach to say that it doesn't look right. I just think Dan Burn's got some sort of closer. He's got to play if he give no matter what. So it made no sense at all bringing Dan Burn on and left back and move Lewis Hall right back. Our best player of the game was Lewis Hall. He moving right back, and Dan Burn can't do left back. He's proven he's not a good left back. He's a okay centre half. Well, seeing that he's had a bad season, in my opinion. And Joe Linton come on. We all said he's going to get a yellow card. He got his yellow card. Too predictable. Trippier, yes, he's organised the back, and I think that's still he finish. I will let him go at the end of the season.
Got to.
But I think it's got to get. Well, the FA Cup, I think we're not getting relegated now. I think we just need to get many wins as possible, but it's going to be hard, because I can't see us scoring any more than 2-3 goals. If we're looking at 3 goals, because we haven't got a striker who scored the goals. And like when he plays Baltimore, I think he's just trying to play him and getting confidence, but he just doesn't do it. And Wisa, he come on the pitch. I think he touched the ball twice. It was bizarre, like you say, first. I'm trying to say some positive, but kind of because first 30 minutes, but we were the better team, and then we pressed the button, and then I think it went pear-shaped, and as soon as they scored the goal, like I said, we're getting beat. So we're just got to forget about the league performance and the FA Cup. The FA Cup tomorrow's a different game. Can't play your heart out. That's what I say tomorrow. And I don't mind getting beat, but as long as every player on that pitch gives 110%, that's all I ask.
Okay. Jeff, welcome back. You haven't been too well, mate. Hope you're feeling a bit better now. But,
I am now.
Good.
Measles, terrible thing, measles. I thought I'd better come on, as Julian Clary might have said. Right. Not quite sure where to start, really. Losing my bits of paper. Let's start with, I forget how many Manchester teams we've been playing recently. I noticed Mad Dog was wearing a top like this, right, underneath his coat, which is something good to see. Because you've got to remember, one of the things I've discovered is that there are people who watch this show, particularly this channel, because we represent some very senior old people who, quite an interesting demographic. And so they get to hear what we say. They will be briefed about what our feelings are and things like that. And if anybody on these shows ever said anything that was actually true about somebody's medical conditions or transfer speculation, there'd be a major inquiry because, of course, if we're about to buy Harry Kane, that would affect the share price, right? And that's financially privileged information, and there'll be a major inquiry into that. Thank you very much. So one of the things I've been sort of doing recently while I've been ill is having a go at the Chronicle. If anybody fancies boycotting the Chronicle, rock on, right? And I've been blocking
needless to say, here we go again. This is Jeff's opinion.
Yes, entirely my opinion.
Any legal action must be directed towards Jeff.
Oh, I'm quite happy. I block everything. I block that Muskie chap on anything like that on Twitter. Incidentally, on Twitter, I discovered today that 51% of my followers on Twitter are bots, right? And I always reply to bots in Geordie, and that completely fucks them. So I read pet, once you've added pet in there, they're lost. Right, okay. Mad Dog and a replica strip. I thought the ref was very good. It's fantastic to have a non-corrupt ref, right? Right, and they attacked us down the left, as might expect. And of course, the problem is you have to watch it in, in Cambodia, because unfortunately that's been sold out as well. But at least you don't have to listen to some scouse git on the commentary. So, in terms of what the problem is, it's the same problem that all football teams have, all footballers have. It's the final ball. Okay, that's what we would talk about in the old days. Oh, the final ball wasn't good enough. Yeah, it's a really difficult trick to get that final ball because there's a dirty great goalkeeper in the way of the striker, but there is also 10 men in the box in some of these teams, plus a bunch of officials who are there to stop you scoring as well. Right, so we were playing out. Our pressing from playing out from the back was very good, I thought. Now, the problem was, in terms tactically, this striker, Scaramouche, whatever he's called, Tunali was watching him. He was always between between the ball and Scaramouche, so they couldn't get a ball to him. Right. Eventually, that broke down, and that was a problem. One of the reasons they attack us down the left is not only Dan Burn, it's also that Mr. Hall tends to lose the ball a bit. Okay, he tends to lose possession in dangerous areas, and that opens up that side to us. So, and he's got a lot to learn. Okay. As far as I'm concerned. Right, let's move on. So one of the reasons I've been so utterly sad and didn't want to get involved is corruption, basically. And this wretched war going on, which is not very good. And it's going to affect everybody. The price of fuel is going to go up. And Manchester United fans are not going to be able to get the game. Right, it's going to be terrible. And I've also been... watching a special channel called the History Git, and I discovered that the Geordies, we invented things like the railways and boats and transport and engines and things like that. And these teams like Birmingham, what have they ever done? Birmingham only ever invented dairy milk. Merseyside invented slavery. Leeds invented the balaclava. Merseyside generally invented slavery. And of course, Man United invented commuting. Man City claimed they invented canals, but really they're just rivers. Brighton invented piers. Sorry, that should be queers. They claimed to invented homosexuality.
Jeff. No. We don't agree with that kind of thing on this channel. Well, Jeff, I'd like you to issue an apology, please. I
will certainly apologise to anybody that offended. That was a joke.
Thank you, Jeff.
That was a Samantha joke. Okay.
Yes. So once again, yes. Jeff, breaching protocol and offending people is not acceptable on this channel. Thank you.
Okay. Right. So London invented plagues.
Football helps.
They also invented alcoholism, though actually that was invented by the Dutch, and bribery, which brings us right back to where we started from. Bournemouth invented fossils, therefore invented light entertainment, bringing us things like Bruce Forsyth and Tony Blackburn. Wolves invented glam rock, which brings us back to Leeds, of course, invented the balaclava. So
I'm lost. Though.
I was right. Okay.
Thanks, Jeff.
So
When we talk about Newcastle United, mate, not Leeds.
okay then.
Jeff, let's get Rex on and move on to Adam.
Right, Rex. Rex has learned to jam on squeeze ball, by the way. Rex plays a mean blue guitar. Come here.
Well done, Rex. Well done, Rex. You've saved Jeff. Thank you very much.
I've got some effort.
You've put a lot of effort into that, but you've got to remember that there are a lot of people who can be easily offended, Jeff, with your sense of humour. It's not acceptable sometimes to come out with some of the stuff that you put. So let's stick to football moving forward, please.
Yes, that was they invented peers.
Yes, exactly. That's good.
Yeah.
Adam, over to you, sir.
Right, battle of football. So I don't know where I'm at now, lads. Christ almighty. Watching the City match of the night, it was quite similar to the scene all. It's quite similar to what I've seen all season, really. Eddie Howe's quite clearly got this new style of playing this season, and I don't think most of the players have bought into it, to be honest. There's Steve, you'll know, Kev, you'll know, and any of the lads and lasses that have been in like higher league football. You've got grid football, you've got your phase, like pattern phases and things like that. But it's just totally stripped back all the freedom that the Newcastle United team had probably last season, the season before. You're watching, like I said a few months ago, Dan Burn came out and said that they've got the patterns. And if you're someone like Pep Guardiola who studies the game and studies the teams like with a fine-tooth comb, he's going to suss you out. Funny enough, I don't know if anyone watches the Stick to Football podcast with Gary Neville and Roy Keane and whatnot, but Gareth Bale was on it the other day, and he said as a Real Madrid player, they never train tactics until they play the Pep Guardiola side. And that's how much detail you've got to go into it. I don't think Eddie Howe changed. It's obvious he doesn't, but surely you should look at that and think, right, I'm playing against the best coaches in the world's team now. I need to change something where it's not going to be guessed, it's going to be out of the blue. And we're just not doing it. There was an interesting conversation on TalkSport on the way home tonight. Do you blame the players first or do you blame the manager? And on this occasion, in a few occasions this season, I think Eddie Howe has to take the flak of it because he's not getting his selection right. He's putting... I think I was one of the people that said, give Voldemort a go in the 10, but it hasn't worked. But why has he persistently kept putting him in the 10? If something's not working, you change it back. And yes, he must be getting, it must be the same as what Darren was saying about Dan Burn. He must have some of his contract where he's got to play as many games as possible because he's putting putting him in the number 10 role and he's running around not knowing what he's going to do. So he could go 2-0 down Newcastle, and I don't think they'd ever panic because I think they know they've just got that hold on with both tactically, both quality. It is a massive gap. And some supporters do frustrate us when they come on and I hear them on the radio and whatever it is and go, we should be beating City, we're this, we're that. And I think they're still years away. We're still years away from being able to consistently beat City. And that's nothing wrong with what happens. It's just that's the gap that we're going to have to try and start closing. But it's a multi-year project, you know. I think the Man United game took a lot out of the players the other night because when you were towards the end, Trippier was going down with cramp. Players were knackered after because it was one of those games we've had to play with 10 men and give it all against Man United. And you've got to play Man City on the weekend. It's not kind, like Steve was saying, that the fixture isn't kind. Yes, I am going to have a go at the Mackhams. The only thing that did cheer us up was Port Vale stuffing them yesterday. So, anything good on you, good on you. Any way I can. I think there's a lot of rot within, and I'm going to say people won't agree, I know they won't, but I think Kieran Trippier as a main person behind the scenes, I think he's starting to rot the core a little bit. There's a lot that gets said around in the press and whatever. He's a senior player. If he's out tashing on, doing whatever, random lasses in Killingworth, Wallsend, whatever, and he's turning up the train still half cut and doing whatever, it filters down, lads. If
I've heard that.
Yeah, it does filter down. People might say it's a load of bollocks, but not everyone's lying about it. And if you've got one, it only takes one player. And the way he goes on, like the thing with Gordon the other week, trying to fight Gordon on the pitch after that little tiff. I think he's a lucky lad trips. I've just seen the comment there. I just think it's a little bit of rot within the team. I think Jason Tyndall has got too much to say as a number 2. For me, Graham Jones is he should be the number 2. He's the best coach within Newcastle United, and that again.
Eddie Howe, like Tyndall, the best friends with many years.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. And I think that's what's holding them back. I think it's what's holding the team back. He's got too many voices when he probably needs to realise, hang on a minute, I'm the king of the castle here. I'm the man in charge. And I get what Darren's saying. It's his best mate. They've worked together for years, but I just think sometimes he's got too much to say from the assistant manager, and he's the main character. And I know a lot of the fan base love him, and he's mad dog and whatever, but I think something needs to be shaken up. But yeah, that's me a little bit of say, Steve.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, look, there is rumours flying around about, all kinds of players. Kieran Trippier has obviously been the focal point of a lot of these stories that are flying around. It's allegations. Nobody knows if they're true or not. But we do know what we see. We do know that we see him, the focal point of newspaper stories with, going out with a girl from, OnlyFans. And, we've heard lots of rumours and stories flying around. Is that causing unrest in the dressing room? Well, the only people who know that are the management and the other players, of course. But look, there's no smoke without fire, and you're right. We didn't see that in the first couple of years under Eddie, but certainly we do know that he's going through a messy split. Trippier, and it's one of those situations. Your mate from Scotland, Darren, has replied. He says, "Thanks for the shout out, Darren. It was nice meeting you. I thought we played well the first 30 minutes, but you're right, they were just too good for us. We haven't got the squad to challenge yet, unfortunately. So thanks very much for dropping that comment in for Darren." Chloe, whose meter, somebody said, always goes out when it comes to her turn. To be honest, I think she switches the light off. I think she switches the light off when Jeff speaks. Chloe, over to you. What did you make of the FA Cup?
She did get Pablo to fix the light.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to start changing the spot, aren't I?
It's funny because you sit next to Pablo, whose light is famous for going off all the time. So it's hilarious that you're both sitting next to each other today.
I'm gonna have to start changing the spot, but no, just commenting back on the key points that have pretty much been said tonight so far, and what George was saying about the first half. It was frustrating because the thing was they were actually really good that first half, and Barnes given the lead, and it was a brilliant ball from Tonali. I'd agree they did have the first better half, but showing that early promise and positivity at the start. For a team like City, you have to maintain it and that intensity for the full 90 minutes, and I think that's where City's turning point was that equaliser, and it was the shift in momentum. Once the goal went in, Newcastle never really regained the control back of the game. And looking at City's squad depth, the changes to the team to win in 3-1, it just shows the level that they play at. And what you were saying about Mamush's input, and he was the difference in that second half, and scoring twice, the second goal, it was a great goal, but it just sort of killed the game for Newcastle. And again, once City went ahead in the second half, they started to really have controlled possession and the tempo of the match, and it was a struggle for Newcastle to get back into it after that. And I think playing them so many times now this season, it is evident they are becoming a tough fixture. So looking forward, obviously for Newcastle, it's how they respond, and there are huge games coming up ahead, and I'm sure Eddie and the team, they want to learn and tackle from the way that the match sort of slipped away. Games like this show how far the club has come, but it also, again, like you said, it shows the level you have to reach to consistently compete with teams like City. But I think if Newcastle can take the positives from that strong, first half, it is another step in understanding what it takes to compete with a side like City at that level. Yeah. And also, the fan support and trying to push the team forward. Hopefully, we will see that strong response in the next, run of games. So I think it's positives and negatives, really.
Yeah, well said, Chloe. Good take. Pablo, on to you, mate.
Evening, guys. Adam stole my thunder. I was going to raise my glass to Port Vale, but I'm going to do it anyway. Absolutely brilliant. Turned a bad weekend into a good weekend.
Pablo.
A lot of cracking points tonight, and I think overall the gulf in class with Man City. I think someone said it in the chat before, and by the way, we have got a resident Man City fan in the chat, which is not surprising because they're never at the stadium supporting the team, are they? No, I'm only kidding. Good to have you in. Yeah, do you know what? Man City, if you look at their bench, it would walk into any other Premier League team every week. So it's no real surprise. But I think coming off the back of that extraordinary win against Man United in negative circumstance, they give us that belief again, didn't they? That first half an hour, it was like, yes, here we go again. We're going to upset Manchester. And then lo and behold, I think Man City were like, you get a world-class heavyweight boxer that just knows he's that good and he's going to come up against an upstart, and he just lets them punch themselves out for a round. And I think he had a feeling of that to it, because once they start turning the gears, and I think for me, like I said it in our chat the other day, I was a little bit frustrated Saturday night. I was nearly ringing Samaritans at 10 o'clock, but I've come round a little bit now, and you got to be a little bit realistic in these things. The way Eddie's set up, to me, it's a man of that he did have an eye on the Champions League. Well, for me, that's worrying, because to play 2 games against Barcelona, I don't want to put a damper on things, but we ain't got a cat in hell's chance. That's the simplistics of it. That's my view, and I hope that I'm wrong. So for me, the one winnable journey that we had left this season was to really go all out against Man City. And when you kind of see, I'm not going to go on the guy too much, but for me, Walter Marder in midfield, Manchester City, no matter what footballer they put on that pitch, are built on movement, creativity, synchronicity. And you've put Nick Walter Marder in the centre of midfield, who doesn't have mobility. I don't want to go too much, but doesn't do a great deal. And we're trying to slot him into a position where he's like a fish out of water, and you're sticking him in against Man City in midfield. It's an absolute recipe for disaster. Again, Anthony, so Joe Linton for me would have been an obvious starter unless there was an issue. For me, Anthony Gordon is still our best striker. That's just how it is. So we play Osula up front, which, fair play to the lad, scored an absolute world beater. But he hasn't got the class to tear a Man City defence apart over 90 minutes. So for me, when we look at how we set up, to me, he was almost foregoing the game, his mentality. But I know there isn't a great deal of options there. We are unlucky with injuries. There's a lot of factors that suggest that we wouldn't turn City over. But for me, I just had a little bad taste in my mouth. I thought, you're not really going for it, Eddie, here. But hang on, let me turn my light on because I can't see my list, guys. Check the pajamas.
Get Chloe's lights.
Yeah. But I think, positive, Sandro Tonali again. If he was an absolute machine over them 2 games. He is world class. We're hearing reports of Real Madrid scouts and whatnot, and you can totally understand it. The boy is an absolute legend. I think with probably moving on to the Nick Walter-Mardy situation, we find ourselves in a position where, I know people say fees don't dictate how a player should be judged or whatever, but if Nick Walter-Mardy was 500 grand, nobody would really be that bothered. Fact is, the club have gone big, and that price tag does hang on his head, and it's not his fault by any stretch. No, he's getting judged by that every week. And Eddie almost, I feel, feels compelled to try and get that £70 million player in that system somehow, some way. And for me, you can only do that when you've got... I keep hearing a lot of fan talk about we need to change this, we need to do that, we need to do that for him. I hate to tell you, he's not Zidane, he's not Messi, he's not whoever you want to pick. He is, for me, he's not worth changing an entire team and getting 10 other players just to try and get one tune out of one player. I think that's where we've fallen short. We've changed this mentality, and I don't want to go back to simplistics, but we've turned it into a one-man team. But yeah, is he worth it? I'm not sure. And again, it's not the lad's fault. I think other than that, lads, it's Man City. It's a shame we're out. I think Barcelona, if it was over 90 minutes, we've always got a puncher's chance. Yeah. But I think over 2 legs, it's a bridge too far. And I think, like I said in our chat the other night, any talk of any assessment when we go through the season of, we've had periods of certain fans saying Eddie out, Eddie this, Eddie whatever. I think really in 2 weeks, like I said the other night, the assessment we can make is, have we had a successful cup campaign? Absolutely, in Europe. Have we had a successful league campaign? Probably not, because we're sat 13th or whatever it is. Have we been successful at recruitment? In my view, no, we haven't. So I think at the end of the season, don't know, it's going to be a tough one, but we're running out of positivity for this season. So it's going to have to be a major overhaul of everything, I think, at that football club in the summer. And for me, the worrying part is, the young lad that was doing amazingly well, Miley, with a dead leg, we've still no real seeing, signs of him. So that's worrying. It's worrying because he has been the shining light, certainly through the past few months. But I'll leave it there, guys.
Well said, Pablo.
Okay, said. Alan, over to you, mate.
Some great points by Pablo there. The first half an hour, lads, I thought were brilliant. I thought were absolutely brilliant. But after that, it was a surrender. Total, utter surrender. George says it was a grind for Man City. I thought it was a training exercise, to be honest. The gulf in class. And I have to say to people in the chat and people on the platform, where we're not at that level yet. Well, I hate to say it, lads. We've never been at that level, apart from under Keegan for 5 years. We're rubbish in the 50s. We're rubbish in the 60s. We're rubbish in the 70s. If you want to win the Premier League, the only time we've been good is in the 90s when we challenged for the title. And apart from them 5-7 years under Robson, we've got to... I blame the owners more. And as every month goes past, there's a great article in the Mail, not my favourite journalist by any stretch, Oliver Holt today, says Eddie Howe has been let down massively by the owners. And I agree with that because, like I said 2 weeks ago, lads, he's not getting the help he needs. One transfer window out of 5, and then we've got 3 players that all of us are talking about isn't worth the money. Voldemora, Elanga, Wissa, with 3 players, we've spent 150 million. Can anybody say they've shook the world? Voldemora maybe's at the start of the season. But seriously, lads, how far, when are we going to become elite club, Georgian? When are, you turn your head when I tell you about facts and figures, but when are we going to become elite club? When the owners are deserting the ship here? When, again, I keep going on about it, until we start getting things right off the pitch, we can't get things right on the pitch. Chloe mentioned a point about the first half an hour, and we played well. We've done that in about 7 or 8 games this season, and we've just switched off and fell apart. It's been like this all season, where with Liverpool away, we played well for a half an hour, and then we just fell apart because the players haven't got the quality. The quality of Man City, it was like the Gulf of Mexico, the difference between them. And I feel sorry for Eddie Howe because people say, get Eddie Howe out. Who is an elite manager? Chelsea haven't got an elite manager. Man United haven't got an elite manager. Spurs have certainly not got an elite manager. So they've got far more financial clout than we have, and they haven't got elite managers either, So, it's going to be very hard when Eddie Howe goes. That's why I blame more of it on the owners now. I even detected it, George, and Mitch and Stu, who are starting to lose faith in these owners now. In the 18 months, I'll judge them in 18 months. Like I said 2 weeks ago, if they haven't started getting that training complex and a new stadium announced when we're going to move in, I think they're taking us for fools here. I really do. Because ticket prices have gone up again by 5% again. People can't afford the price rises and what we're getting back. A mid-table team, because until things change in the summer, like everybody said, it's going to be massive in the summer. If we do not get it right in the summer, we are going to be a mid-table team for years to come. Like we were in the 50s, George, whether you like it or not, 60s, the 70s. I adored Mark MacDonald and his team. but we never, apart from 1 year in the 70s, we finished 5th in all his time at the club. And it was under the worst manager, probably one of the worst managers we've ever had in Gordon Lee. But we never finished in the top 10. We only finished once in the top 5 in the 50s, George. So we must have been rubbish then, as far as league is concerned. We won 3 FA Cups, but that's it. So I'm looking at the management and the owners here, not Eddie Howe. And people want Eddie Howe out, scream, but they very rarely say who they want. And would a league manager come to our club now with the PSR rules and anything to go with it? You've got to start from scratch. And I'm not seeing anything to improve my mood. I was watching it at the game yesterday, and Pablo made a great point about Man City fans, but there was thousands of our fans leaving the ground with 10 minutes to go. So how can we complain about other fans leaving the ground, George? There was nothing there for them because the new war beat.
I mean, the Man City fans don't even bloody turn up, man, Alan.
True. In that respect, I agree, George. I agree, but that's due to their success, really, isn't it? And it shows you they're not that well supported, to be honest with you, which a point I agree with. But going forward, I just hope I'm like Pablo. I don't expect anything, but my main concern is the big game, and we all know the big game, guys, on this fans forum and in the chat is Sunderland. If we get beat off Sunderland twice in a year off them, then there'll be a lot of negativity, massive, about Eddie Howe going out.
How are you going to put more negativity into your life, Alan? You're so bloody negative, it makes me cry.
It's not negative, George, that's what I'm saying. I'm showing you facts, man. If you bury your head, George, you'll never go forward.
You must sit up all night looking at all those things. We haven't won there for 20 years. We haven't won here for 30 years. I'm a Newcastle United supporter. I want to win.
Well, get a copy of wisdom.
George, that's what I'm saying. We're not winning. And we're just burying our head in the sand. And you're saying support.
You made Chloe going dark again, Alan. Chloe's switched the light off again.
Yeah, I know. It's basically, you cannot bury your head in the sand. You know, you've got to see what you're seeing on the pitch. We can all go to the game and have hope on Saturday. I had hope we could beat Man City. But after the 90 minutes, I was left absolutely disillusioned because of the fact of gulf in class. And when are we ever going to get there? Can you see we've been a Man City, George? At the minute,
until the sort the financial arrangements out, we're always going to struggle. But I'm still not going to get me talking my team down. Not like you do. Sorry.
I'm not talking my team down, George. I'm saying the facts. If they keep getting beat.
Positive bloody words that you come on.
Well, unfortunately, getting beat off Man City in the golfing class.
It's not the end of the world, though, is it? We're still for 4 years we've done great, though. This is the bleep season.
I have.
And that's all.
I have. We've done well.
We've done
well for the history in the past.
And 4 years ago, somebody offered you 2 cup finals and a win, 2 European Cups in 4 years, you would have clapped their hands off.
I'm not knocking that, George. But what I'm saying is there's thousands of fans want Eddie Howe out for that. And I'm his biggest fan. And people want Eddie Howe gone. And it's what I'm saying is I'm not being negative. I'm just showing you how it is in the past. Shows you what we've been.
Not the past now, though. It's different eras.
Yeah, but you're the Premier League, Joe. Do you want to win the Premier League?
Yeah, we're not talking about the past. We're not talking about the past. It's about now. You keep talking about the 60s.
I want to win the Premier League this season. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. We won't do it
in the past. You're talking about now, though. I don't understand why you keep going to the past. Right, that's the past. The future's now.
Exactly. So we're going to win the Premier League next season, Darren. Are we going to win the Premier League next season? Are we going to win the Premier League next season?
No, but we'll be in the league still. We'll try and we'll do best we can. We'll challenge for the highest possible place position we can.
You said 8, I said 9th, Darren. I can tell you now, if things don't change, we'll be mid-table next season. That's my prediction now.
You don't know that. You don't know till the transfer window is done and things.
No, we did. But when we lost the best striker and one of the best strikers in Europe, you could tell straight away we weren't going to be in the top five.
You've got to wait next season until the transfer window happens. Who goes, who comes in. Forget about
The Future Is Now is a good song title. You could be working on that, I think.
You need to concentrate
Good
on
song. Future Is Now.
You need to concentrate on now. Whatever happens this season happens. But we'll have the bad season, fair dues. But neither knows what's going to happen next season until the transfer window happens. Who goes? Who? People will leave. People will come in. But no point being that. And like you'll keep going with the path or have one there like all the path. But now though, I'd say George's point. You keep going the past. We're talking about now in the future. We're not going the league in the next 2 or 3 years, surely, but at least we'll challenge and we'll get high as we can. Do you know what I mean?
But we won't challenge if the club's not there putting the infrastructure in place.
Who knows what the clubs will do? But at the minute, the clubs is in a good place.
How is the new stadium going to win the Premier League, Alan?
Exactly. But the turnover,
how is it going to win the Premier League?
I agree. Look at Spurs; they've got the best stadium in the world, George. But if we've got a good manager, but we haven't got the best facilities to attract better players to come, the gems in the future to come. If you've got a stadium and facilities, the gems of the future will want to come because they see the club going forward. If you just stagnate and just say, I'm happy with what we've got, then we'll stay.
Look at every talk show and ask the players which is the best stadium to go to. And 9 out of 10, it's St James's Park.
They want to be part of our project. That's the test, right? If they want to go and play for whoever pays the most.
Good. Listen, lads. This is what the debate's all about. From George to Alan and
top
to
players
Jeff.
always go for the money, Jeff. The top players always go for the money.
Well, they're not top players as far as I'm concerned because they don't want to play for us.
I'm keeping an eye.
Good for them. They can go play for Liverpool.
Keeping an eye on the time,
Liverpool
lads.
look like a bunch of Colombian hitmen. Or so can't look anonymous. You know.
We're going to move on. We're going to move on to Kev. Kev, good evening, mate. Good to see you on, mate. Give us your views on the cup exit.
After all of that, I mean, I'm just prop my feet up right here. I'm running out of a drink and all the rest of it. Pablo putting the private jet, get the popcorn out. No, it's all right, mate. Hey, look, you're passionate fans. That's what it's all about. No, it is what it is. It's just like a bunch of lads sitting around a bar table having a tune the fat. That's what it's all about. But no, I'll get back to the game. I listened to first half on the radio. I thought, obviously, like a lot of people have said, the atmosphere, from what I could hear and from Razor or whatever on BBC, that the atmosphere was electric. The performance was pretty much all us, really. Obviously, I didn't have the visual, so I've got to play it in my mind. But getting that 1-goal lead, and you could just what I was hearing, they were getting back into the game, which Man City do. But once we scored, they controlled that game. Unfortunately, 1 second until another plane flies by my house. Sorry. But at the end of the day, and it's been said, and whoever said it, forgive me, but Pep Guardiola, I aspire to his tactical nous and coaching ability, regardless of the players that he has. I think he's got Eddie Howe's number. I think he's got Newcastle United's number.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've got a book on him in terms of how he does his tactics. And he'll rotate certain things. I watched the second half, and he just got outdone. Once that second goal went in, even the first goal went in, the game was over. You just knew how it was going to go. It took every ounce of us not even to concede. It could have been more. It could have been 4 or 5. I mean, that's how sad it was. But at the end of the day, and I agree with Adam's point a little bit in terms of Graham Jones. I think he's one of the unsung heroes of the coaching staff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he's like he's the glue, because I think you got the Tyndalls, you got the Howes and all that little click. Then you've got Graham Jones, who's stuck in the middle because he just had to be brought on because of the Steve Bruce era, essentially. but he's the glue between the group, the players, and the management team. I think, in my opinion, that's what I just see, and not what I hear. You can just see that he's always giving a lot of hug. He's always giving a well done. He's always one of them positive type of people. Then you got, we could talk about Mad Dog all day with fashion choice or whatever, but it's not about that, mate. It's about football at the end of the day. And when we were at our highest point, we were not conceding goals. We've conceded goals, 3s, 4s, whatever it is. You can put any number on it in any game. We're not defensively. We're not defensively structured like we were. Yes, I am. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah, I am. Just answering that question. We're not just defensively strong. We give teams too much respect in terms of tactically in the field of play. We give them too much room. I mean,
Kevin, we've let 3 goals in 7 times since January.
No, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. So you build on a defensive structure. Yes, you can have a high pressing game. You can clear on the front foot as long as you've got a hole in the backside. But if you've got no defensive structure, yes, you can build from the front. You can do all of that. But if you've got no, again, defensive structure like we had, and no bite about us, and no, will, no fight for each other. Yes. We've talked about Joe Linton getting yellow carded. It is what it is. That's his game. That's what he does. He breaks play up. He gets involved. Sandro Tonali, again, he's a midfield maestro. Essentially, he does everybody's jobs because nobody else is doing it for themselves. When Lewis Hall loses the ball in a bad area, like Jeff said, which I agree with, Sandro Tonali's got to cover. He's got to do that work for him. And that should be others around him. And he's running himself into the ground every game to do other people's jobs. And unfortunately, that again, and agree with Adam, that it comes from the top. Yes, players can run all day long. They can work hard. That's a minimum. That's what you get paid to do. But if you can't then therefore do your job, what you've been told to do, regardless of the tactical and that, whatever, that's your job. If the information's getting sent in from the dressing room or pre-game or whatever meetings they have and analysis, if you're not getting, from a coach's perspective, your point across the players, that's a problem. We went to a possession-based game. We went to a European way of playing, and it's slow and methodical. We can all see it. Yes, we might press and work hard for half an hour, and we might get a goal. If we don't, again, against Man United, we didn't get a goal. We worked hard, we pressed, we pushed, but Man United slowed the game down to where they played in a mid to low block, and we can't break teams down like that. So we retracted and went backwards, in my opinion, to play a possession-based game. And like we said last week, and Steve, you said it last week, the passing's crap, the movement's crap. There's no patterns. What Dan Burn was saying months ago, whatever it was. There's no patterns. It's goalkeeper to centre half to left back to centre half, sideways and backwards into the midfield. And they might maybe be able to find a penetrating pass through the lines, maybe. And it's just sad. It's sad to see the decline. I'm not trying to be a negative, but it's just a decline of the way we play. Yes, we create opportunities, but we've got nobody there to score. I could run faster than Wissa, to be honest. I mean, good Lord, that was disappointment, a disappointing thing. You spend 69 million on Baltimore. Yes, you spend 50 odd on Wissa, whatever. The output's not there, and to go back into it, Baltimore is not playing a 10; he's playing an 8. He's playing in a midfield 3. He's not playing a 10. So you're giving a lad who doesn't know his arse from his elbow at this point, in terms of, am I playing a 10? Am I playing an 8? I don't know. But I think when the changes were made, when Dan Burn came on, yes, you can understand that based on Lewis Hall's output, or he even stayed on. But with Kieran Trippier's output and for his age and things like that, for me, I would have went to a 3. I would have completely changed it. I would have overloaded the midfield. I would have played 2 up top. But there's no difference. It's the same of the same. It's much of the muchness. The one big positive is that Tino Livramento was back available again. That's a big positive. I was like, oh no, is he going to get another injury? Is he going to pull a hamstring within the minutes that he had? It's a bit of a worry. But, it's nice to see those players that are coming back fit and relatively fit and available to play. But again, it was it was always going to be a massive 2 weeks or so in our season, and unfortunately they failed to deliver, not as in terms of an expectation, but even just maybe take Man City to an extra time or whatever. There was just no. That's the kind of expectation. I agree with Pablo. This was a chance that we could have a good run in a cup and get to a final or maybe lift some silverware. But it hasn't happened. It's plateaued. The season's coming to a whimper. It's pretty much a whimper at this point, and we just have to watch it because we love the club and we have to watch it. But and it's not a very good watch. Kudos to Darren, who goes all over the place. I feel for you, mate. Watching that, and Steve yourself and others who go travel around the country, around Europe to watch that. Bless you.
I choose to, though. I
love
football. I love it.
I've been there and done it myself, mate.
I'm going to Chelsea on Saturday. I'm going to support my team.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm a football fan. I support my team.
I've been there and done it myself.
I'm going to London on Saturday. I'll be there to support the lads.
And look, fair play I understand, and I've been there and done it myself. I've been around the country when I was there, but I totally respect you doing that, and that's what you do as a fan. That's what you do is supporting the club. That's what we're ingrained to go do and see a victory or see a good performance. And
I don't mind getting beat as long as we give 110%.
Exactly.
That's all I ask for.
Totally agree. So, again, it's just majorly disappointing of how it's all panned out, because
frustration is the word, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Couldn't agree more, mate. Again, we might need to have a little getaway in me and you, Darren, because we seem to agree more now.
No, he's too busy with Jeff.
At least you talk football, mate. That's one thing I'd say.
I'm trying.
Kev, we'll come to you, Kev, on the Barcelona game, and we play Barcelona tomorrow night. Obviously, the first game of 2 games in the last 16. Eddie's described it as the biggest game in the club's history. He's had to justify that on more than one occasion in the after-match press conference in Man City, and then again today. Okay, give us your views on this and a prediction at the end of it.
Not going to be easy, is it? It's Barcelona at home, but we've been there, done that, and got the T-shirt before. Yes, it's different eras, it's different moments in football, and the times have moved on. I was there when we beat them 3-2, and Tino got that hat-trick. So there's nothing weirder. I call it the most imperfect game football, because you just never know. It's perfectly imperfect, but if we can take something to Barcelona, then we'll have a chance. I'll go. Let me think.
Can you count
2-1?
Okay.
I'll go 2-1.
Okay, Alan.
If we're playing the first half an hour like we did against Man City, we've got a chance. But I suspect we won't. 3-1 Barcelona.
Okay, Pablo.
I'm going to try and be... I don't know. Being totally honest, mate, I just want us to be in it in the second leg. I don't want to go out to Barcelona where technically there's nothing to play for. So I do think Barcelona will win 2-0, I think.
2-0. Okay, Chloe. Chloe, are you there?
Hello.
Yes, no, I'm here. I think, obviously, like you said, it's going to be a difficult game. And I think being at home, I'm going to be positive and go for a 2-1 win.
Okay.
Adam?
What they were saying there, it's not going to be easy, like, is it? I'll go 1-1. I'll be optimistic for once when it comes to playing a big team.
1-1. All right.
Jeff,
Jeff usually says 3-0.
I'm going to go 3-0. I just wanted to say to Alan, in the old days, the club was run by the local lodge, and the currency was sausages, right? But now it's run by men with pinky rings from America, and it's dollars. No, it's just. So there you go. And I still say we're going to win 3-0.
Brilliant. That's great stuff. Always optimistic. Darren, sausages?
There it is. Just get out there, give 110%, and just bust the gut. And I've got to get 2-1 win. That's what I want. Just I'm in the director's box as well, so
Go on, Darren. Go on, 2-1.
2-1. Okay, George. Last but by no means least, give us your prediction, mate, for tomorrow.
From the happy clappy, we're going to win 2-0, and we'll hang on to a 0-0 in Barcelona to get through to the next tie. And anyhow's absolutely right. This will be the farthest we've ever gone in Europe. And if that doesn't please anybody, not an important night, well, what the hell do you go for?
Not as far as carrier bag.
There we go, George. George will be back tomorrow at 3:00 in the afternoon. George and I will be looking ahead to the game for an Ask George. Look forward to seeing everybody then. But thanks very much, lad. Take care.
Put a light. Get a light for Chloe.
Have a whip round.
Take care, lads. And Chloe, good night.
Steve, can I just say thank you to everybody for the good wishes to our Neil. I know he appreciates everything that people are saying. But he's fine, he's safe. He's doing his job, etc. So he's fine. Thank you, everybody.
Take care. Stay safe. Take care.
A big thanks to all our sponsors, Skips and Bins. You can find them at their website, skipsandbins.com, or contact them, www.skipsandbins.com/contact. Say hello to low-cost waste disposal with pay-as-you-go and contract waste management. A big thanks to United Group Travel, our fanzine sponsor. There are no strangers on our tours, just friends you haven't met yet. 2-crew driver and courier, local family company, 3-star plus quality hotels and no interchanges. Hot and cold snacks and drinks available on the coach. All excursions included. The website, www.unitedgrouptravel.com. Email beverly.ugtl@gmail.com or telephone 01670 632 460 or mobile 0791 666 4174. Deposits from £50 per person. A big thanks to Media Arts. Their website, www.media-arts.co.uk. Email info@media-arts.co.uk or telephone 0191 637 5061. If you want to help support the channel, then you can click the subscribe button. We still do 7 shows a week. It is free. Hit the thumb up to like the video and click share to share to your social media. A big thanks to Sports Social Podcast Network. You can listen to us on the road, on this network, or by tuning into iTunes, Spotify, or other podcast providers. You can also join the channel by hitting the join button on YouTube or go to our website, nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk. You can pay a one-off fee of £25 and you'll receive a membership card, a beer mat, a fridge magnet, a key ring, a badge and a pen. £25, nufcmatters.co.uk.